metal in my wrist in order to keep the bone together. Sorry. All right, Missy, I think we gotta tell everybody what's going on. It's about time, right? Thanks for coming back to the channel. I've been through hell and I just want to do an update of what's been going on in my life. It's been a crazy almost 2 months of my life. I have been through so much, and as you can see, my hand is right now, it's changed a lot over the last months, and the story that I have to tell you is just so incredible. I also want to show you that I have a brace on my foot, and I just got that one yesterday. And I'll go over with you how the medical industry is so lost in this world. Honestly, they just not paying attention to the patient, and I've learned that. So stay tuned. In this video, I'm going to tell you the whole story and how God warned me first of what was going to happen, because this was a spiritual battle that I had to go through, and God allowed it to happen in my life so that I can reflect on many things, let go of things, change my life, and just really narrow down to what I really want to do in my life. So with that said, let's get into that. First things first, as you can see, my gray hair has gotten way more grays because of all of the stress that I've been under. My blood pressure has been through the roof with all of the stress that I've been through. You don't know what happened. I fell off a ladder painting a rental house that I own, that I was putting up on the market to sell. And I will link that video down below. That's just gonna explain that. But now I'm gonna get into the story of what exactly happened to me spiritually on that day that I did not talk about in that video, because I wanted to reflect with God first about talking about those things. And I know some people don't like to hear these things, but I have to talk about them because for me, I've left out a lot of the spiritual things of my life, and it's very important that I open up about those things and just showing God's grace all the time in my life and how he saves me. For me, it's been difficult on YouTube. The last few years, I've been feeling super burned out and just tired of YouTube doing stuff. I hate the censorship. I hate the negative comments, I'm going to just say the idiots that are out there who don't pick up a Bible, they don't read, they want to just make up stuff in their head. They listen to all of the freak shows that are out there telling them stuff, and you know, they don't get to the facts, they don't get to the truth, they don't research, and you know, and then they try to attack me when I come back to them with, you know, this is factual, this was historical, this is from the Bible, the book. And they don't like things like that. So I know that I was attacked in a spiritual sense because my last couple of videos have been precisely on what's happening with this trans movement that's happening, and people are catching on to it. And I believe that, you know, part of it is people are listening to me. They go out and they say, well, you know, why is she talking the truth and I don't hear that from my church, or I don't hear that from this preacher, and I don't hear that. So it's opening up where lots of people are actually talking about the Bible. And, you know, this trans stuff is unholy and it's not supposed to be happening. And, you know, and I really do believe this was a spiritual attack on me. Let me just start from the very beginning. When I was at the rental house, I was weed whacking the house. I was almost finished. I was ready to go home, and I was in a rush because I had all these projects to do here for the springtime. You know, it's April. This happened on April 7th. So April 7th for me is like, you know, I'm planting. I'm this year I only wanted to plant flowers, and I had so many great projects that I wanted to do. And now I was trying to get that house done to get rented. I'm sorry, not to get rented, to get sold. And you had the pressure of the agent, you know, you have to do this and you have to do that. So I was under a lot of pressure. I would get up in the morning, I'd go over there, then I'd come back home and do stuff here. So I was really exhausted, tired, doing stuff. So that was to me the last day that I was going to be there. And I was weed whacking the front of the house. And when I was weed whacking, my mom calls me on the phone. And my mom says to me, she said, "Did you call 911?" And I said to her, "What are you talking about?" She said, "You called 911 because I got a notification right here on my phone that says that you called 911. I said, "Mom, I didn't call 911. I'm here weed whacking. I'm at the house weed whacking." She says, "I don't know what this is, but your picture is here saying on my phone, when I picked it up, it says that you called 911. I get a little emotional when I think about this. So I said, "No, I'm fine. Don't worry about me. I'm fine." So the next thing I was going to do was I was going to spray paint some stains that were inside the porch of the house on the outside. So I remember that she called me, and knowing that I did a video on spiritual attack, Ephesians, I did that on the other channel when I had it. I said, I'm going to be really careful here because that was not a coincidence that my mom got that. So I checked the ladder that I was on and I shook it. I got up and down really carefully. I held onto the ladder and I did everything fine. Then I went to the outside of the porch and I really didn't have to do that, but I kind of want to finish the spray can that I had. So I thought, oh, I'll just touch up this little piece that's here. So there's like these cement blocks there and I put the ladder up there. I shook it, make sure that it was firm and everything was fine. And still remembering that I had to be really careful. So I went up there and I sprayed and everything was fine. And on the way down, it was like I entered in a time warp. I felt like I was here and my life is now in a different, like I entered a portal into a different time place. The next thing I remember, I was on the floor and I just got up like normal and I remembered my arm hurt. And from there, I just realized that I was in a bad situation. So for you to understand that I was warned in advance. This was the week of Easter. So this happened to me on Good Friday. My mother called me at 1:23. I ended up having to go to the emergency room. It was about 2 o'clock. I didn't get out of the hospital till 9 o'clock at night. That's how long I was at the hospital. So I am very thankful that God warned me from heaven. I was warned because this could have been something worse. Had this accident happened when I finished weed whacking and I got into the porch, there's cement there. So for me, if I would have not taken the call and really reflected on that, I could have probably most likely have fallen on the cement and I could have killed myself on the cement, hit my head. So I'm glad that it happened when I got outside the porch and I actually landed on the grass, which is a lot softer. With all that, my arm still is it's pretty bad shape because of how badly I hurt it. Because I have 10 screws in there and a rod, metal rod. And as far as my foot is concerned, I don't know what the outcome of that's going to be in the future. Now let's talk about knowing that God allowed this to happen in my life was for a reason. And I'll talk about that probably in another video because I was angry for quite a while with God, but I never turned God away. I wanted to know what happened. And he led me to the book of Job. And I've been in the book of Job and I will be talking about the book of Job. So many wonderful things from the book of Job. I've read it before and it would never touch my heart the way that it did this time around. Now remember, my ankle was twisted. It wasn't broken. This is what the hospital, they said, don't worry about your ankle. It's not broken. So just keep off of it for a while. So it was really hard for me to do anything. This was like all new to me coming home. I was exhausted. I was still under the medication. I was by myself basically. People didn't realize how bad that I was. Nobody came to my rescue. I was taking care of myself. I was feeding my animals, doing everything myself. So that Monday, I ended up calling my primary care doctor because I needed an appointment to go to my orthopedic to check on my hand because my paperwork from my hospital said you need to be at the orthopedic by the 14th. That gave me 7 days to get there. So I call her up. So the problem that I had with the insurance was that in January, I started with this new insurance and I had not gone to the primary care yet. So they didn't have me on file there, and they requested that I have some paperwork done. So I went online, I filled out the paperwork, and I mailed it to them. So I called them Monday. I got the papers online Monday. Tuesday, I sent the papers over to them in the mail. And she said that they didn't get them till Friday. So I was like, Friday was the day I was supposed to see my orthopedic, and I had not seen him. So now we're going on another week. And finally, I get an appointment to see the primary care this week. I was in a cast. I want you to know this, and I'm going to show pictures here. So if you're a little squeamish about seeing things, you're going to see my scar and you're going to see all the stuff that happened to me, because I feel like a bionic woman at this point with all the metal that I have in my wrist. So I ended up being over 2 weeks with loose bones, and I could feel it. I could feel it. I tell my mom, I'm like, I was in so much pain. I was like, Mom, I feel my bones are loose in there. I can feel them moving in there. And that's exactly what happened. The doctor in the hospital, he didn't give me surgery. He just kind of patched me up, put a Band-Aid on it, and figured, let me throw it over to the next guy. He's going to do the surgery. He didn't want to do the surgery, so he gave it over to the next guy. So he just passed me off, right? But the delays with the insurance is what caused me to be 2 weeks with loose bones in my inside my cast. And I had this huge heavy cast on, and I could hardly walk with my leg. So what happened was I finally went to the orthopedic 2 weeks later. I got to the orthopedic. When the girl went to do the x-ray on me, she's like, do this. And I'm like, I can't. My bones were loose. Trust me, when she took the cast off, my bone, it was like I was still in that day. My hand was still swollen the same day as the accident. Nothing had changed, even though I was in the cast. My hand, so I'm coming off the cast. I just took the cast off. I can't move it. It hurts crazy. The ring is cutting into my hand. As you can see, I cannot lift my hand. So she's like, oh my gosh. So she does this thing. She sees that I'm all loose in there. And when the doctor comes in, she's like, you need emergency surgery tomorrow at 6 a.m. You need to get to the hospital. He said, get to the hospital. He said, if I have to go through your insurance, it's going to take a while because they're going to need, referrals and all of this stuff. He goes, go to emergency tomorrow at 6 o'clock, which I was going to eventually do anyway. Because by that day that I saw the doctor, my hand was so swollen. And I'll tell you why it is. And I'm going to post a picture here. I wear a thumb ring. And when they casted me at the hospital, and you'll see pictures here, they casted me all the way up to the thumb. They did not remove the ring. And what happened, because I was inside that cast, the thumb became infected. And even the primary care, she never checked my hand. She would have checked my hand when I went to see her. She would have seen all the swelling. She would have seen that there was pus. My skin was broken off. There was pus coming out where my thumb was. So when I went to this orthopedic, he said, he took the x-ray, and I'll show you here. He saw the ring. And he said, you've got to get the ring off because you need emergency surgery tomorrow. So when I left him with swollen pain, I was in so much pain. I had to go to a jewelry shop, and I actually found a pawn shop who was willing to do it for me. He had to cut the ring. It took him a while, but he actually cut the ring off. And I'll show you a picture here of a few hours after he cut the ring off. All right, they got the ring off. You can see right there I have an infection. That's because they should have taken it off at the hospital. The orthopedic also took a picture of it. And I'm having my surgery tomorrow. And I just cried, not because of what he was doing, the pain. My hand was, I just couldn't take it. I've been in tears during those 2 weeks. So finally, I get up in the morning, and I get up at 5, and I drive myself to the hospital. Believe it or not, I'm in pain. I only can drive with one hand. So I'm driving myself everywhere. I was fearful driving to the doctor, to the orthopedic with one hand. I can't use the other one. I'm in a cast. I'm in one hand driving, and my foot is damaged as well. And it's the right side, and that's the foot that I'm using. Went to surgery. I got there, and they said to me, you're going to get picked up this afternoon, because this was outpatient surgery at the hospital. And I said, I don't have anybody. I'm driving myself home. They said, no, you can't. They had to keep me there overnight because they would not let me leave. And I'm thankful that they did that, because what happened was, when I had surgery in my wrist, they had to put my entire side of my body to sleep. And it was the oddest feeling when I came out of it. I could not feel my body. It felt like I would touch it and it felt like rubber. I couldn't feel anything. So the danger with something like that, sending somebody home, I mean, they will do it if you have somebody who will take care of you, because you really should be in bed after surgery like that, because you're so numb. So the anesthesia didn't wear off till like, I think 9 o'clock at night. I was upstairs in the hospital, and I just stayed there, and I was eager to go home. I had prepared that morning enough food for my cat and my dog and the chickens, so that if I had to, and I knew most likely I might be staying in the hospital overnight. So, but I was still nervous because I know Muffin was going to be like, but Muffin was really good. When I got home, she had not peed like all over the house. She had gone in her little place and done it there, and the chickens were just happy to go out and forage. So I was really happy the next day when I got home. I was still, you know, under some of the medication, still kind of woozy, and I just laid all day long. So that's what happened. And then after that, 2 days later, I had to go into the orthopedic and get it recasted, put a new cast.
This is my cast from the surgery, and right now I'm recovering. I'm going to see the doctor today. I have ice underneath and ice on top. It helps a lot, and especially on my fingers are still swollen. You can see that my finger is healing from but I can hardly move my fingers because they're so tight in here. But today I'm going to get a new cast that's going to help me with therapy, so I can start to move my fingers. My fingers have been stuck in this position for over 2 weeks now, so they're pretty stiff at this point, and the pinky is in really bad shape because I had that bone that was loose at the end. So it goes all the way up my arm, and it weighs like 3 pounds. This thing is incredibly heavy.
Because the cast that they gave me at the hospital after surgery was so heavy. I couldn't believe how heavy this thing was. And that's one of the reasons they wouldn't let me home eat without supervision, was because it was so easy for me to fall over. I actually have this bracelet, I'll post it here, that I still have. They put that on me in the hospital because it was very easy for me to fall over, especially with a bad wrist and such a heavy cast. So they recasted me. They gave me this cast that was specially made for me.
So here is my hand out of the cast. This is Saturday, so I was recasted on Thursday. You can see here, this is where all the pus was coming out of my hand when I had the ring on. You can still see the mark of the ring. That's where my skin broke, and I had pus coming out of there. And I still cannot move. I can't move. I can move it from the joint. I can't move it from the top. And these fingers are still swollen, and they move a little bit now. They could not move at all on Thursday, but now as of Sunday they could. You can see also my skin is all broken. If I look clearly here, let me see if I can tap here. So if you look here, my fingers, you can see that that's all broken skin, and that's from the swelling. So the swelling got so bad that my fingers actually broke the skin off of the top layer.
And this is a compression glove that I had because the swelling was so incredible. I mean, my hand, I have skin actually that's still trying to come back because of the swelling that I had in my arm. I also had, my arm was casted all the way to the elbow. So it wasn't until they, after the surgery, when they took off the cast, that I was able to see that my elbow was also bruised and hurt so much as well, because it was covered in a cast, but that was from the fall. So what had happened is I had fallen over on my wrist, and what I have here is a rod holding my bones, and I have 10 screws that are holding my wrist together, and those are going to be permanently with me. So right now I'm working on getting therapy to get my hand back. So if you see my left hand, this is what I could do with my right hand at the time before the accident. And as you can see, I still can't really grasp. Now, one of the things is the compression glove. I have it on now because I have to go to therapy in about an hour. So I'm wearing it because of my arm, my hand. I take it off during the day, but I was swelling up, so I put it back on. But I am able to close a little bit more without the compression glove. My thumb, because it was so badly infected with the ring, still I can't do any of this. I can't bend it at all. So I haven't had anybody here helping me or doing anything. I've kind of figured it out for myself. So stay tuned. I do plan on a video on exactly on wrist surgery and all the things that I learned, because I did some research online and a lot of things, they're not very good. So I will eventually post a video about all the stuff that I went, that I learned and how to do certain things around the house and all of that stuff. For me, this has been a real turning point in my life. It's been a time of reflection. I have really wanted to be in the Word so much after that Bible study. I've actually changed a lot of my planners and stuff around, because now I'm doing like Bible study in the morning. I've been reading Job and getting, learning things in the Spirit about why these things happen. And before this fall, I just want you to know, I was doing a study on the kingdom of God, which is what Yahushua, Jesus, came here for. I mean, the first thing out of his mouth with John the Baptist was about the kingdom of God. And I was so passionate about that study that I came across, and I'm like, oh, I have to put this on my channel. This is amazing. I wanted to complete the study before I actually put it on YouTube and really go through it. And that changed my life too, understanding something. And then the second part of that was this situation with the book of Job also was another thing that God is leading me to. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if I just had this and Job, when I learned about God and Christ and all of that, I mean, that would have changed my world. I mean, this can change people's world, understanding this sequence here. So that is going to be coming on my channel, up in my channel in the future, as soon as I have time. As far as being alone, I've been pretty much doing everything by myself. I do have a friend of mine that lives up north, and he was coming to visit his cousin in Tampa. So he offered to come and cut and mow my grass for me, and he did so much for me, because not only did he mow my grass, he's mowed my grass, he serviced my mowers, because I figured at the time that he was here, I couldn't grasp, my hand couldn't grasp, right? So I knew I couldn't use my zero-turn mower. He serviced all my mowers, which has been great. He changed the blades for me, so I'm all good for this season. He also serviced my car, which was great. And he also fixed, and there was another thing, I was really scared of driving, because I was in a cast and I was driving with just one hand. And then a few weeks before this happened, my rearview mirror had fallen off. It happens in Florida a lot because of the heat. And my left blinker was off as well. So I was scared to drive because my blinker was off and I didn't have a mirror driving with one hand. So I was super scared, but he fixed all of that for me. So I'm very grateful for all the things that he's done for me. He's done so much helping me around here. Oh, that's been great having help. I had my mom here while he was in Tampa. I had my mom here. She's been here. She was here for a few days during Memorial Weekend. I spent time with her. I haven't seen her in like 3 years. So it was really nice having her here, and we cooked together, and we did some shopping together, which I really shouldn't be off of my ankle. The worst part of all of this is not just the hand is getting better. The ankle is not getting better, because what happened was about 2 weeks ago, I stopped taking medication, and I was taking oxycodone after the surgery, and then I was taking ibuprofen, 600 milligrams for that for a while. And then what happens is that masks the pain of my ankle. So when I took medication for my hand, my ankle wouldn't hurt. But when I wasn't taking the medication, I would have pain in my ankle. So I thought, this is really weird, because it's been over a month. They said I didn't break anything. So why do I have so much pain? I mean, there were times that I would be in my bed and cry by the time I got at night to my bed. So it's been a long journey with me trying to get to see a podiatrist. So I went to the doctor, and she wanted me to get an MRI, but I really needed a podiatrist. So I finally got to a podiatrist yesterday. All the way in Ocala, I had to go to this podiatrist because he could fit me in right away. So that's why I'm wearing a brace on my leg, my ankle, because he said that It's been 7 weeks and all the damage that's in my foot has already healed in the wrong place. So a boot is not really it's not really going to be good for me right now. So this is kind of like a sling boot type thing, which is actually easier for me now to put on. And I might have to wear this for quite a while until the whatever's in my foot goes back to position. He said that I am like a hair away from a fracture, and I've been like that for 7 weeks. Not even knowing anything. That's why I have so much pain. He says, you're a hair away from a fracture. So we have to position it and make sure that you are secure there. So that's why I'm wearing this thing. This just kind of wraps all over the place. So I'm going to be wearing that for quite a while. I'm seeing him in about a month. At the end of June, I'm seeing him, and he will determine whether or not I'm going to need surgery or not on my foot, only because, you know, I should have had a boot. I should have had the foot checked. But because the hospital and the doctor said, oh, don't worry about it, it'll heal on its own, and I was taking the medication that was masking all the pain that I was having, that's why it took so long for that problem to get taken care of. So I'm in better mood today because this leg thing is getting taken care of. The hand is getting better. I'm able to move. I still can't do certain things, like I can't do a ponytail, and I still can't write with this hand, but I've gotten really good at writing with my left hand. I have not stopped writing. I still take physical notes, do my Bible study, all of that. Sloppy, but it's legible, and that's what's important, that all of these things are legible. I feel very alive, very happy. Was in a dark place, and I feel like light is in my life again, only because I feel thankful. I feel that I've been through so much and I've come out of it. I feel resurrected. And for me, this has a special meaning for me because this happened during Good Friday. And that Saturday, I was busy trying to figure things out, and I really didn't get any rest until that Sunday, Resurrection Sunday, and I was able to realize that I was on my own and I had to do things for myself, and my animals were counting on me, and I just picked myself up and I just went on with my life. And I've been doing that. I've been doing that with pain. I've been in incredible pain, and I've just dealt with it. I've dealt with it, and I feel so much stronger coming out of this. I'm so thankful for the opportunity to still be here and to share my story with all of you, and all of the things that the enemy doesn't want me to say, the lessons he doesn't want me to teach, the stories from traveling that he doesn't want me to tell about the amazing God that I have. And I mean, so many things that I'm going to talk about more in the spirit in another video. I know not everybody likes to watch this kind of stuff, so I will talk more about that in another video. So for me, I'm so thankful that I didn't fall in the cement, that I was warned in advance, that I understand so much about Satan and what he does. I understand about, there's people out there when you're looking at me that don't like me. They're jealous, they're envious, they don't like what I have to say, and there are people that put curses on people. And I also know that I'm protected under the blood of Christ, that I have a reason to be here in my life, to do certain things, to share knowledge and things that God gives me to talk about in the spirit. And I'm so thankful that I get an opportunity to do all of that in the future of this channel. So with that said, I'm gonna let you go for now. I don't know when I'll be posting next. I got therapy this week, and I just want to do videos when I'm inspired and when I'm ready to do them. And I don't want any pressure up. I have to do a video weekly. I will continue to post. I want to spend time with people and not have a camera in their face or camera in my face or worried about filming or this or that, whatever. I don't want that in my life anymore. I want a simple life, and I want to really be in the present moment, especially with the people around me when they're here. And I did that with my mom this weekend. I didn't film anything. I mean, we took pictures and stuff, and I just thoroughly enjoyed being with her and spending time with her and not worrying about doing a vlog. And by the way, I can't really do vlogs because I can't hold my phone with my right hand and walk. And so if I did videos, it would be me mostly talking or doing things like that. And those are the kind of videos that you'll see on this channel. Plus a video that I said I was going to do about everything that has to do with breaking your wrist and all the things that come with that. So with that said, I thank you so much. I am such a crybaby, but I've been through a lot, and I'm just so grateful to be here and to be able to share my experiences with all of you. And I thank you also for all your prayers and the people that reached out on Instagram or Facebook and send me emails. Thank you so much. I just really wanted to be alone for quite a while. I just didn't want to answer or talk to anybody. And that's where I was at. So, and you'll know more about that once I talk about Job and the lessons that I learned from that. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Have a lovely day.